Hello, everybody. We're going to try something a little different this week. I've used the word groove a couple times. It's a really important word for me for music, and I want to do some exercises that help us really understand maybe a little bit more experientially what that means. So we're going to use a hymn that I think we're going to sing for the next Sunday that we record. I sing the mighty power of God. To Forest Green, I believe is the tune. And basically, the way that we're going to approach this idea of groove, feeling of the groove, is the feeling, the undercurrent of rhythm that goes through this thing. So first, Forest Grove is in, or I sing the Mighty Power of God, whatever the tune name is in 4/4. So you have this kind of basic quarter note. Bum 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 ba da 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 dum. But notice we had some eighth notes in there. So there's always in music, there's always the fastest note that you're going to get. In this case, that eighth note is it. Now you could break it up into 16th notes, but we don't actually do this when we sing this hymn, so it's not important. The way that you break it up becomes important at a certain point because you can break things up for any song either into twos or threes. Da 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 da. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, or 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. There's always this kind of basic subdivision that's happening underneath, and it's really important to be able to feel this. So in any case, in this song, it's bup 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 bup. So what we're going to practice is having our awareness always on that feeling of groove, feeling that's the groove, that this is steady, that we're all feeling this together. And it's actually, we all do this because there's no way we could sing together if we didn't have some sense of groove. The reason we want to practice with it is because the more you can internalize it, the more that it becomes natural to feel that, the more that we'll all sing together. And not just sing together, but we'll sound better, our voice will naturally be better, our bodies will relax, our minds will relax. It creates this, it's kind of the foundation for creating a beautiful sound and beautiful music. And a lot of what you need is to have your mind and your body kind of focused on this groove. The groove is more than just this, but this is a large part of it, is getting right there, right on the spot, exactly where it happens. Not a little before, not a little after, but right there. So there's this, we talk about having wide open awareness and a focus. This is where the focus comes in. You want to be extremely precise here. So I'm going to put up the sheet music. If you have a hymnal at home, this is not the best. I hope it's big enough. It's a little small. But hopefully that's better than nothing. And so the first thing I want just is to see if you can say this way of counting. You can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. See if you can sing it while you're saying that. So what we're doing is the ands of the eighth note. We're keeping track of this groove. It's just a way to help get our mind focused on this. So 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and it's okay if you can't do that. That's not really that important, but that can be a nice way if you can kind of do that, to go through and see how well exactly do you understand the rhythms, because sometimes we think we know something, but then when we try it in a slightly different way, it shows us what things we do know about it and what things maybe we didn't know as well as we thought. But here's how we're going to practice it. So we're going to take this first line for now, and I want you to, so first thing, I just want you to feel this, and 2 and just let your mind go there. Count in your head if you can. 3 and 4. 1 and 2. Feel it in your body. Still nice and relaxed, nice and open, but focused. So this is where we're going to find that balance between being wide open and listening to everything, but also being very precise on that. And so we're all going to sing this line, and we're going to listen to, we're going to keep that sense of 1 and 2 and 3. And we're going to, as we sing, see how well we're lining up. Are we precisely there? That's what we're going to pay attention to. So let me count you in. I'll give you a full measure in 3 beats. See how well you do. See how well you can think about that groove, think about the underlying 8th note pulse, and get right there with your singing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I sing the mighty power of God that made the mountains rise. Great. Same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I sing the almighty power of God that made the mountains rise. Give it one more shot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I sing the almighty power of God that made the mountains rise. Great. This also lets us practice something that's really important in choral music, which is the very first note of a phrase and the very last note of a phrase. So we all want to be right there at the very first note of a phrase. And the way that we do that is by feeling this groove. So there's a coordination that happens with, as you're feeling the groove or counting in, we've got 7 beats, you have to coordinate a nice relaxed inhale and then be right there. So there's a good practice. Part of, we talk about always having a relaxed inhale. The next kind of step of that is a relaxed inhale that's preparing to nail that first note right where it's supposed to be. And it just takes practice of coordinating this groove. Then the other end of that is when you get to this last note, we want to hold it exactly how long we want to hold it. In this case, it's 3 beats, but we need to breathe there. So actually, we only want to hold this for 2 beats. So you can practice putting that S of rise right on the first, right on beat 3. Rise, and that gives us 1 beat to breathe. I sing in the almighty power of God that made the mountains. 1, 2, z, and then breathe. And then you've got 1 breath, and then you got 1 beat to breathe. So that's again, we're back right where we were. You need to coordinate a nice relaxed breath that gets you right in on that. So let's take both of these phrases now. We're going to do the same thing again. 3, 4. I'm going to count you in, and we're going to sing the first phrase. We're going to end the rise right on beat 3. Take a breath in and see if we can keep the precision through 2 stanzas. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I sing the almighty power of God that made the mountains rise, that spread the flowing seas abroad and built the lofty skies. See, I had to breathe in the middle of that phrase there, which is, that's really tricky. You have to cut that broad off pretty quickly if you're going to do that to be in for and. In any case, we're not going to go into that much detail. I want us to practice the feeling of the groove. So let's go through the whole song this way. But what we're going to do is I'm going to cut each phrase up. So we're going to sing 1 stanza, and then we're going to take let me think here. Rise. We're going to add 1 measure in between each stanza. So we'll sing rise, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That spread. What this lets us do is not have to deal with the complexity of having to only breathe in 1 beat. This gives us time to reset, to relax a little bit, and focus on being right there for that first beat. That's the thing I want us to think about the most today. See if we can get this in our next recordings really well. Is that first beat? We're feeling the groove. We're ready. We're coordinated, and we nail the first beat of every phrase together. So let's try it. So we're going to sing one stanza, take a one measure rest, and go into the next one. So at first, you're going to have to think a lot about the 1 and 2 and 3, but slowly, as we've talked about, you want to move this into deeper parts of your consciousness where you don't actually have to think those things, but you feel it. And at some point, it just becomes a part of the environment you just are completely in. That's what we're slowly working to. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I sing the almighty power of God that made the mountains rise. 1, 2. That spread the flowing seas abroad and built the lofty skies. 1, 2. I sing the wisdom that ordained the sun to rule the day. 1, 2. The moon shines full at his command, and all the stars obey. Got it? Let's do the same thing with verse 2. Feel that groove. See if you can get each of your notes right there. Ba, 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 ba. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I sing the goodness of the Lord that filled the earth with food. 1, 2. He formed the creatures with his word and then pronounced them good. Lord, how thy wonders are displayed where'er I turn my eye. 1. If I survey the ground I tread or gaze upon the sky. Great, let's do verse 3 as well. Count you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. There's not a plant or flower below, but makes thy glories known. And clouds arise and tempests blow by order from thy throne. While all that borrows life from thee is ever in thy care, and everywhere that I could be, thou God art present there. All right, going to come back to video here, I think. Excellent. So that's a really great way, always, this fundamentally when you're approaching a new piece or an old piece, whatever, whenever you're singing, that feeling of the groove, the rhythmic groove, is extraordinarily important. We're all doing it on some level, but the more you can bring it into your awareness, into your consciousness, it does a lot of things. One thing it does is when it focuses the mind, and so if you can have this expanded sense of awareness with that focused mind, that puts you in that flow state, that puts you in a concentrated state that relaxes your body, relaxes your mind, lets everything come out a little bit more nicely, and it's really what, when you hear great performers, that's what they're doing. They're going into a flow state, and then things very naturally, without them having to work, they're not thinking about all of these details, they're just doing it. That's that flow state. So the groove is a way to go to train yourself to get into that state, because you have this focus and you have the expanded awareness. Uh-oh, my battery's dying. In any case, start to approach the songs this way. You can do it with YouTube videos too. Just pick a song you know and try to sing along and notice, can you stay right exactly with the singer? Can you feel that groove and be right there? It's really good practice. The more that you can do that, definitely the better musician that you'll be on all levels, no matter what you play or sing. So thank you very much for taking the time to check out this new groove video or whatever I'm going to call it. And I hope it's helpful, and we'll see you on the other videos.